Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
Hi everybody, it's Doreen, and I'm back today with a card that I had to make for my husband's nephew who's getting married. So we will be using the Silhouette Cameo, or Erica as I call it. No Cricut, as I've said before. It may be a while before I'll be doing some Cricut videos, so if you're following my channel, because I do Cricut cards, it's going to be a while before I do that, because right now my Cricut and Gypsy are not working. And I haven't been able to get a hold of Provocraft to resolve the issue, so I don't know if I will even bother trying anymore. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the card so you can see what it looks like. So this is the card that we will be making today, and it's actually a really simple card once you get it laid out on your mat. Now this does involve some paper piecing for the cake, but it's not that hard. So come on and join me, and I'm going to show you how I made this card. Okay everybody, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the website that I got the card idea from, and I've used this website before. It's birdscards.com, and what I did was I subscribed to her newsletter, so I get an email when she's created a new file. And I just went ahead and downloaded this file previously because I figured I could use it to make this wedding card. So now the card does come, I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom here, and I will give you the link to the actual card. Otherwise, if you go to her website and you just type in wedding card, you should be able to find it, but I will include the link in this video. So if you go down to the bottom, she does show you how she put the card together, or what she did with the card, and then you'll see the files themselves. So there is a frame, and then there is the cake. So let's jump over to the Silhouette Designer software, and what you download the card, it will come as a zip file, and then you can go ahead and pick the option to unzip it and make it a studio file, and then you'll be able to add it to your mat. You won't have to have the designer edition of the software to do this, because she does set it up as a studio file. Now the thing is, her card came in as an A4 card, and I'm not quite sure the size of an A4, but I wanted my card to be a 5x10 size card, so, or I'm sorry, a 5x7 card. So what I did was I did import it at the size that it comes in as, and then I went ahead and resized it. So here is the frame piece of the card. So this is 2 layers, and as you can see, the things are not grouped together. I want to make sure I put that back exactly where it should be, so I didn't undo. So what you'll need to do is, when you want to do your resizing, you should make sure that you group all of this together. So I went ahead and just grabbed all of it, and then I'm going to right click and I'm going to click group. So now all of my pieces are grouped together. And when I put the card together, you're going to see that the Silhouette was able to cut these intricate cuts. So the same thing, you want to do the other side as well, the bottom layer to this frame. So you want to grab everything and then right click and then group it together. Now I did do the resizing so it would fit the way I wanted it to my 5x7 card, and I'm going to go ahead and just give you the measurements rather than remeasuring and resizing everything. You don't need to see me do that, so I'll just give you the exact measurements. Now the other thing is, you'll need to download the cake, so with the stand. So here are our cake pieces. Now this does come in as one piece, so I'm going to just move this up here real quickly. These are separate pieces, so you will need to group those. And you don't have to group if you plan on cutting everything out in a different color, but that was not my intention. So I'm going to group everything by grabbing everything and then right clicking and then choosing group. So now all of my pieces are grouped together, and this is like your base piece so that you know where to lay everything on the card. So now these pieces you don't have to worry about grouping together because those can cut separately. And then you want to make sure that you group this lace piece together because those are separate pieces. So once again, you'll highlight everything, right click on it, and then you're going to click group. And then you'll do the same thing for the cake stand itself. Highlight and then right click and click group. So now all of my pieces are exactly the way I want them. So now I'm going to go ahead and give you the sizes. So I'm going to jump over to my actual file that I have set up, and with this you can go ahead and cut your pieces the way you want. I'm not going to go into detail how I got the sizes the way I did. It was some trial and error. I kind of put everything together as one, grouped it together, and then did my resizing. But I'm going to go ahead and give you all the measurements. You can make it whatever size you decide you want it to be, and we'll go ahead and do that right now. So now for those little small pieces that we didn't group together, I did go ahead and group these when I put the whole piece together. So the measurements for this is 2.640 for the width, and the height is 1.335. Now I'm going to also include the dimensions in the video as well as in the description bar. So for our cake stand pieces, the width is 3.035 and the height is 2.570. For our cake pieces, the top layer cake pieces, the width is 2.640 and the height is 3.645. And then your bottom layer piece that you'll use for your layering is 2.635 and the height is 3.130. Now for your frame, let's start with the bottom layer first. Your bottom layer is going to be, the width is 4.710 and the height is 6.825. For your top layer of your frame, that is 4.555 and the height is 6.675. Now I know that was a lot of measurements, but as I said, I am including the measurements in the video and I am including the measurements in the description bar. So the other thing that I decided to do was I wanted to use my print and cut feature to go ahead and do a personal sentiment in the inside of my card. So for your print and cut, you're gonna make a square that is 4.670 for the width and 6.755 for the height. Then you will go ahead and put in your text or your inside sentiment. Now I'm not going to show how to do that because I've shown that in previous videos. So those are all the measurements for everything. So what I want you to do, if you're making this card along with me, is to go out to birdscards.com, find the wedding cake or the wedding card file along with the frame, download that to your computer, unzip it for a studio file so that you can open it up in your Silhouette software, change your measurements, then go ahead and cut everything out, and then don't forget to do your print and cut if you're going to do an inside sentiment using your Silhouette. Once you've done all that, meet me back at the table and we're going to put this card together. Okay everybody, so if you're making this card along with me, you should have laid out all your pieces on your mat as I showed you how to do. And now we're going to go ahead and put our card together. So now our card measures 10 inches by 7 inches And then I've taken that and scored it in half to make it a 5 by 7 inch card. And I'm just going to take my bone folder and make sure I get that crease very well. And then the other thing that I've gone ahead and done is I've gone ahead and taken my Anna Griffin Cut-A-Bug folder. This one is called the Poppy, and it looks like this. And I've run that through my Big Shot, and this is just some plain white Georgia Pacific cardstock. It's that Walmart brand. So now we're going to go ahead and put on our first layer, which is this layer right here, and then we'll be putting our top layer on top of that. So let's go ahead and put the ribbon. I've made just a little bow here, and I'm going to go ahead and put this down, and I've made just a little slight pencil mark there so I can line up exactly where I want to have this. So I also went ahead and took the Anna Griffin Cut-A-Bug folder and ran that through our top layer here. And this cardstock is some of the metallic cardstock that I picked up on that last scrapbooking haul that I did. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to line this up first of all, and I want my bow to be right there on the edge. So I'm going to take and put some glue on the back of here, and we're just going to put that down first, and then we'll go ahead and wrap our ribbon around the rest of our card, or the rest of the layer here. So I'm going to press that down, and then what I've done is I've taken and put some score tape on the back of here. So I'm just going to peel that off because I want this to lay flat. So I'm going to take and put my score tape, and then I'm going to take this piece and bend it over like so and lay that flat down. And then I'll take the other piece on the other side and do the same thing. We'll get that backing off. And then we'll just take this and fold this down and around on that side. And I'm just going to take my scissors real quick and snip that off. So now I have my bow on there. And then I can go ahead and add this to my bottom layer here. So I'm going to line that up, make sure that looks right. And then I'm going to take the ATG gun and go along here and get some tape along here. And then I'm going to get some as close to my edge as I can. And then we're going to go ahead and put this down. Now I think what I also want to do is I'm going to take and get some of my 2-way. So I'm going to bring up a scrap sheet of paper here, and I'm going to go along here with my 2-way zig pen and just get some glue along the edges here. So I'm just sporadically putting this down like so. And I just want to get some on the edges here so that when I turn this over and put this down, it'll lay flat on that layer. So that's it. I'm just going to add just a little bit there and get a little bit along here. And then we'll just go ahead and put this down. I'm going to move that scrap out of the way. And you kind of want to line that up. And then I'm just going to press that down. So now I have my layer, and I'm ready to add it to the front of the card. So I'm going to open up my card, and I'm just going to lay this down. And what I'm going to do is, looks like my ribbon is just a little crooked there, so I'm going to see if we can get that up and straighten that out just a little bit. I might not be able to get it up, but we're going to try anyway.
And I'm going to press down. And that's a little better. It just looked just a little crooked to me. Okay, so now we can go ahead and we're going to put this down. So I'm just going to get some tape on the back of here. And I'm once again going to use my ATD gun to get my tape on. And I'm going to run it across. And I'm going to get as close to the edge as I can. And then once again, I'm going to take the two-way, I'm going to get along the edge there too as well. I'm going to take the two-way to get in my corners here so that they'll lay flat as well. So I'm just taking and running my two-way zig pen just along those corners. And if you like, you can use your Tombow adhesive and do the same thing. Okay, so now let's go ahead and we'll add this to the front of our card. And once you get this laid out on your mat and cut out, it's really simple and quick to put together. So now we'll add our cake. Now I've already gone ahead and put the cake together because it is paper piecing. So if you don't like paper piecing, you're not going to like making this card. So I've gone ahead and put it together, and this is my cake. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and I did take the leaves from the cut file from Birds Cards, and I made the leaves. I started out making the flowers that come with the cut file, and I didn't like the way they were coming out, so I just decided to make the leaves and use those. And then I'm using some, or I took and made some rolled flowers with vellum, and the leaves are made out of vellum as well. And I use my Favorite Things die to make my rolled flowers. And then I've placed a pearl in the center of each one. Now the shine or the glitter that you see on the leaves, I used, what I've been using in the past is just some sparkle nail polish. And I did take my stickles, and this is the frosted lace, and run it along, because I took my pieces and ran them through my Cut-A-Bug folder, and I used the Swirl Cut-A-Bug folder and my favorite one, the Swiss Dots one. And then I've gone ahead and added some pearls down here at the bottom where you had that lacy piece for your cake stand. And I've used some of the metallic cardstock to make my cake stand. The white for the cake is just, once again, some of the Georgia Pacific, and then the blue is some scraps of the Recollections cardstock that I had left over. And then I took and put some stickles also along here on the top. So I've gone ahead and popped this up with some foam tape. So we're going to take the backing off the foam tape, and we're going to add this cake to our card. So let me get all these. And I added a lot of foam tape because I really wanted this to pop up and show. So let me get all those pieces off, and then we're going to line our cake up. I'm going to try to get it in the middle here, and then we're just going to press down. So now the last thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and put my sentiment in the inside, and of course I got to add just a little bling, and we'll come back with the finished card. Okay everybody, so I am back with my finished card, and I have blinged and pearled this one up this time. So what I've done is I've added a pearl flower right here on top of my bow, and then I've added some bling here on the side of the ribbon, and then I've added some bling in each corner. And then I've gone ahead using the print and cut feature to put my sentiment in the inside. And then for the inside of my sentiment, I did use the Stampin' Up! Tempting Turquoise to put my stamp of the cake and the bride and groom. And I'm not going to read the sentiment, but I found this sentiment in the book that I use to make my cards. It's called The Ultimate Guide to the Perfect Card, and I've used this book before for my sentiments. The book looks like this. And the title of the sentiment is A Good Wedding Cake. And as I said, I'm not going to go ahead and read it all the way through, but I thought it was fitting for this card since I have a wedding cake on the front of the card. So that's it, everybody. This is the card that I've made for my husband's nephew who is getting married. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.